Coming up, we're about to eat at Cafe La Bamba at Universal Studios Florida on this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig, and today I am joined alongside by my co-host, Ryno.
Hello.
And today we are here at Universal Studios Florida because Cafe La Bamba has reopened / opened because even the team members here have thought I didn't realize this is a restaurant at any point in time, but it has reopened for the first time since we've been doing this show, really, unless I'm completely missing something. It opened for a week at one point in time, but they're at least hoping that this is here to stay for right now. And of course that means we have to go in and try it. In context of all this, it actually opened yesterday, so we give them a day to, figure it all out before we stormed the gates of Universal Studios Florida to check it out. And hopefully it'll be good, because I know they're going for some Tex-Mex flavors. They're going for that Chipotle style concept, and that can always be promising. It's easy to not screw this one up, but we'll have to see how it is. Before we go ahead inside and check it all out and see what's going on in there, I do have to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, please consider booking a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money and you get the support of one of the awesome Dreams Unlimited Travel agents. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free no obligation quote. Ryno, I'm not going to give you any time to make any La Bamba jokes because I know you have them in your back pocket.
I sure do.
Instead, I think we should just go ahead inside Cafe La Bamba and see what's cooking. We have made our way inside Cafe La Bamba, and the first thing that at least took me by surprise, and maybe I should have started looking at some clues outside to put it all together, but when you're looking at the menu outside, there's no prices on it at all. It just lists everything that you have, and then you walk right into the building and you see the food prep stations and you see it all there. It's like any other quick service restaurant at Universal in that way. It's everything's laid out there, except the thing is you're not going up to a register to order. There's no prices listed up above all of the food stations. You basically walk in and you choose a table, and then on the table you have a QR code, and on the QR code that will bring up the menu. At that point you bring it up and you have to order mobile order. And right now, that's kind of an inconvenience. I prefer a cash register style system. But mobile order can work. It'll still take annual pass holder discounts, but I like the feeling of going up, looking at the food, seeing the entire lineup, and then also, ordering right there in that way. But we have to do it this way, so we're going to look at the menu and make our choices.
I went with the deluxe burrito bowl, which was $15.99. That is described as served in a bowl with no tortilla, cilantro rice, black beans, choice of protein, which I went with the pollo asado, which is chicken, cheese and pico de gallo with guacamole, sour cream, and roasted corn salsa. I do like an open plate presentation. I don't know what you call this, but I usually just swirl everything together. But I'm going to just try the chicken with a little bit of the rice and beans first here. So from the first look of it all, it looked like it was going to be a little bit dry, but I am happy to report it is not. The chicken has an adobo flavor to it, which is pretty tasty. I am going to try the salsa that's on here, because I'm weird about cilantro, and I can't taste it very much in the rice, which is good. But I'm worried this salsa is going to trick me up, because it's riddled with it. Okay, that's fine too. Ooh, it's a little spicy too, which is nice. Okay, corn is good too. Trying the guacamole. Just regular guacamole. All right, I'm swirling this baby together. Yummy. swirl that cheese in there with the chicken, and then I'm gonna do the guac on top. A little bit of the sour cream on top here. All right. I feel like my grandfather eating dinner. This is what he always does, mixes everything together. Surprisingly tasty. I thought we were gonna need a little bit of hot sauce or something. And I actually think I'm okay like this. So I'll be curious to see how the burrito holds up in comparison to this.
I could not decide between tacos or a burrito, but ultimately I went with the burrito because I felt like that might be a little bit more filling than 3 tacos. And I will say it both looks and feels hefty, so I think I made the right choice on that. The specific burrito I got was the deluxe burrito for $15.99, and that's a flour tortilla, cilantro rice, black beans, choice of protein, which I got the carne asada. That's grilled beef seasoned with chile, coriander, and cumin. It also has cheese and pico de gallo with guacamole, sour cream, and roasted corn salsa. So essentially, it's the exact same thing as Ryno's, but just wrapped in a tortilla, and then I got a different protein on it. But, you know, ultimately, I feel like it needs all the extra stuff in there to really be at its best. Maybe it would have been fine just like kind of pared down, but
you got chips too, though.
And I did get chips with mine, I should say that. And we'll get to the other chips that we got. It's the same exact chips as that's on my plate, but Ryno wasn't getting chips with his, so we made sure to order a side of chips and queso, and we will cover that. But mine came with chips, his didn't, so he is just no
chips, no crunch,
no chips, no tortilla, nothing of that level. But I cut mine in half, of course, so I have a nice, easy first bite. Here goes nothing. I was more concerned about the burrito needing hot sauce than Ryno even was, and I will report that he was exactly spot on with his assessment of that. It really doesn't need anything else, and that is really because of the sour cream and just that little spiciness from the pico, and then having that the guacamole in there. Let's be honest, it's bagged guacamole. I'm like 100% certain of that. I could be completely wrong, but it has that texture and that slightly acidic aftertaste to it. That's like they put some preservatives in there, but it still works with the overall burrito. The carne asada is really nice in this. It is bursting with chili and the cumin especially. And so yeah, it's like a nice hit of seasoning right from that. I was surprised that I was going to be able to taste it over everything else in here, but I actually can. And you know what? I'm going to let Ryno try the queso first, but I'm going to just try a chip by itself because they look like they're just pretty much bear chips. And
for bears?
For bears, yes. Bear chips for bears. And I'm hoping there's something a little extra to them. They are lime salt chips.
Oh.
And surprisingly, even though you look at them and they don't really look like there's a lot of salt on them, it's there. The salt is kicking through. Just a hint of lime to it, so it's not really overpowering anything. And I think they're good chips. I would like them warm. I like warm chips when I'm having them with queso especially, but they're fine for what they are. But I'm gonna try it now with the queso, and we got this as part of the lime salt chips and queso package for $6.99. We'll have to look at the pricing. Ryno pointed it out. It looks like it might be cheaper to order a side of chips and then a side of queso or a side of guacamole than getting it in their little combo packages, but we just went with it all together.
Oh.
And this is not good. The viscous layer was already on top of the queso before we even really started even like moving the food around on the table. So I believe it kind of came already a little bit on the older solid side, but we'll see how it tastes. The texture is not doing it any favors right now, I will say that, but ultimately like this kind of just feels like jarred queso, like the Tostitos queso that you'll find in a grocery store in the jar, and like you pour it out, like that's what this tastes like to me, and then just like barely heated up. Here's the deal, we're gonna eat it because we're monsters, and we just feel like we have to, but I don't care for it, and I will never get it again, and I truly do not recommend that anyone else gets it. I would say go for the bagged guacamole over this queso, 100%.
I like a side of chips with a burrito bowl. I do it at Chipotle because I like to dip and turn it into nachos. I am happy to report these are good sturdy chips. Burrito bowl sturdy chips. Burrito bowl bearing. Oh my god. When you stirred this, I thought maybe it was just like, it's giving me resistance. It's giving me, my mom made me stovetop Jello pudding and left it on the counter. And I came down like 20 minutes late. Ugh, thick. Thick. She's a thick baby. I'm not a big queso person. That's irrelevant to this though, because you know what? Every time I end up getting it, I like it. This doesn't feel like it'll be the case. Okay.
The chip is breaking as you're trying to pull
As
it
I
out.
just said, they were good burrito bowl stirring chips. I'm pretty sure it's like the Tostitos from the jar. You know the one I'm talking about? We all know it. They come in the 3-pack sometimes with the salsa. That's what this tastes like, and it tastes like somebody had heated it up and then like left it on a counter, and you got to the party a little bit late, and you went to try it and was like, oh, no, I think I'm good. So, not a fan. Not for me.
I just want to do some wrapping up before we get to the actual dessert portion of this. I talked about the chips in queso. It did not get any better. That queso is awful. It is just truly, truly awful. And again, that was $6.99. We could have gotten the lime salt chips with guacamole for $7.99. They have a fresh salsa flight for $6.99, and that has that pico with the corn salsa and then spicy tomatillo. And then also, even though it's not a salsa, it's a hot sauce, I did see one of the other tables ask for hot sauce, and they were able to provide, I believe they had Tabasco and chula, and then I think they brought out for some reason sriracha. So that's what they had. And I think that's all I really had to say about that. Oh no, sorry, about how the sides could be cheaper. So a side of guacamole is $2.79, a side of queso is $2.29, a side of salsa is $1.49, but then you can just get an order of lime salt chips for $3.49. So assuming that the portion size is the same, you could technically order individually a side of lime salt chips and a side of guac or queso, and it would be cheaper than doing the combination. But we didn't order that, so I can't tell you that. It's something that I will try to discover. Maybe we can try to ask someone here for the answer on that. Maybe it's just a smaller portion. I'm not sure, but definitely intriguing. Could be a little bit of a hack in a way, but it is nice that they offer the side of queso and guac by itself. So if you did get the burrito that has the extra chips with it, then you can have something to spice it up a little bit. And the tacos also come with chips as well too, so that's where you would want to definitely take advantage of that. But dessert, we're going to move on to it. Ryno was very excited for this place specifically because the picture he saw in the menu out front mentions a cuatro leches cake, you know, a take on tres leches, but they're adding an extra leche. And so he got very excited about that. We show up, we open up the menu and look at it, and it's not a cuatro leches cake, it is a horchata tres leches cake. So I don't know if they're counting horchata as an extra leche. I don't know enough about it to truly understand it, but that is what there is for dessert. The horchata tres leches cake is $5.99. It's a vanilla cake soaked in horchata with dulce de leche. And, you know, beautiful presentation, all the little peaks from the cream on top and soaking in milk and the fresh strawberries. It looks really spectacular, but hopefully it also tastes spectacular. This could be the highlight of the meal. I'm honestly believing that this will be the highlight of the meal. And I will say, it's milky. Ryan, it's milky.
Oh God.
I have to stop saying Ryno. I have to switch to Ryan, because Ryan, it's milky.
I don't know. I don't think it's more formal.
Milky. The dulce de leche in this is very subdued, not really hitting at all, but there is so much cinnamon bursting from this, I believe, from the, you know, that horchata flavor. It is milky, it's creamy. This is a really nice dessert. A really, really nice dessert. And I think Ryno's going to be over the moon with it. So, time for him to give it a try.
I will always order a tres leches cake when it is on the menu. Tres leches, cuatro leches, how many leches you want to give me, I'm going to take them. So I was very excited to see this. I'm going to go in and get a little bit of everything here. Found the cinnamon in the second bite. I feel like I was on the edge of the cake the first time, you know. But I think it's very, very good. The cake is very good. I think it's the right type of cake that letting it soak in this milk gives it like that perfect texture that you want from a tres leches, at least in my experience. I'm not an expert, but like I said, I will eat this anytime it is on a menu. And this is a pretty decent one. This is very, very decent. Oh yeah. I would come here just to get this again. Even if I didn't eat this, yeah. Oh man.
Dessert was obviously the best part of this meal, but it's also not hard for that to be the best part. Right after the queso was the absolute worst part. And then, of course, the burrito for me kind of fell right in between the two of them. It wasn't a bad burrito by any means. The carne asada was super flavorful. $15.99 before discount. Having the chips with it, I don't think it was a bad price, but for this restaurant, Cafe La Bamba, I have to automatically compare it to Pecos Bill over at Magic Kingdom because it does the exact same concept as does Chipotle and so many other places. And I think Pecos Bill is potentially a little bit more flavorful. You know, they don't really beat around the bush about like having packaged products and stuff for like their sour cream, whereas this, like, at least it felt like someone was putting it together a little bit fancier. But flavor wise, I think I prefer what they were doing. But we're at Universal, we're not there, so that doesn't matter. I'm just using that as a direct comparison in the theme park realm. I mean, obviously you can leave here, go to Chipotle, you're gonna get a much more flavorful meal, an even bigger meal at a lower price, but you're here at Universal, so that's what actually matters. But you know, after the discount for the burrito, as well as Ryno's, he'll talk about his in a second, it was $13.59 for our annual pass holder discount. That took off 15%. And then the horchata tres leches was $5.99. After discount, it was $5.09. Lime salt chips and queso was $6.99, went down to $5.94. I'll give the subtotal as soon as we are finished with this. But yeah, it was, right now, it was, the food itself to me was like, you know, it's a medium on the scale of effort. I don't know what I'm trying to say with this. I'm really struggling to find my words today, and it's probably because I'm rambling with this. But yeah, it's I don't want to say mediocre because I feel like that's too mean. But I also don't know if I would say this is good, and I don't like a lot of the system of ordering and such. So I'll take a couple more seconds to think about it. Maybe I can get my thoughts to be a little bit more coherent while we get Ryno's final wrap up.
For me, I think I already said it, the tres leches cake is like hands down the winner. I put this everywhere in the park so I can have it more often. I would love that. I would come back and just order one of those again if it's like a hot day or something like that. You know, nothing like milk on a hot day. I thought the burrito bowl was decent. I think Craig's was the better value because it's essentially like the same exact stuff. Like I might be getting maybe a little bit more in the bowl, but he had the chips, so I think it mixed it up a little bit more. So I think that might be the way to go. It said on the menu outside there was vegan chorizo. There was not vegan chorizo when we were ordering in the app, so I would come back and try it again because I like the vegan chorizo that they have at like Chipotle, and anywhere I've had vegan chorizo before is because it does add a little element of spice that I really enjoy. So I would do that, and it's good to know that you can ask for hot sauce because even though it was flavorful, I like to burn every flavor receptor in my mouth out, so I won't be able to taste anything when I'm older. So yeah, and the cheese was really that bad. It was awful. It literally should just be removed from the menu. It was disgusting. So I think this place is actually decent. Decent enough that it's nice to know that there is another option now that isn't burgers and fries and everything deep fried, and that you can come. It feels a little bit fresher and a little more substantial. I think it's worth it with the annual pass discount. I think without it gets a little like, I don't know, maybe. But you know, another benefit is it's inside and air conditioned and you're not in the sun. So I appreciate it for that too. So right now, I get what Craig was saying on a medium scale. I'd put it on that medium well, I think is where I would I would put it. Like, I feel like it's you know what? You tried everything else. I think it's worth giving it a shot.
Ryno did mention the fact they didn't have the vegan chorizo. Instead, it was like a vegan mixture of mushrooms and pineapple, which did not appeal to Ryno. And I just don't remember if we talked about the meats before, so that's why I'm bringing them up now. They also had the option for the protein being shrimp that was in the same seasoning as the carne asada that I got, or you could do mojo pork that was in the same flavor profiles as the chicken that Ryno got. And yeah, I think that kind of covers the wide breadth of everything that's here at Cafe La Bamba. We didn't obviously get any drinks. They did have some margaritas, mimosas available because there's that bar that connects in the inside and outside that you can go to. So yeah, beyond that, I think we kind of went over everything. And our subtotal after the discount was $40.69, and I'm leaving here full. So it wasn't, I would say, yeah, with that annual pass holder discount, it kind of got it in the right area for me, but
$20 a person, but we got a dessert but no drink.
Exactly. Yeah. So water for us at this table, staying hydrated. So yeah, ultimately, like Ryno said, if you've eaten everywhere else and you're like, I really want to eat here, then absolutely give it a shot. Unless you've done like a VIP tour before, chances are you haven't been in here. Very rarely do you get to go in here. So I'd say, you know what, it's worth checking out if you like this style of food, and you know, come on in and see what you think. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found this useful. If you did and you want to support us more, book a trip through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, questions, video suggestions in the comments section. And if you're listening to this, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if there's a place to leave a rating and review, please take the time to do that as well. So thank you everyone for taking the time to listen and watch this review of Cafe La Bamba. We'll see you again soon with another episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still haven't changed the name.